morning, student. Today I am going to start History, Chapter 12, Our Heritage. Student, our heritage. What do you mean by heritage? Listen carefully. Heritage means the culture of a country, the traditions, the qualities which have existed for a long time and that have great importance for the country. That is called heritage. For example, Indus Valley civilization, then painting, architecture, etc., is known as our heritage. Firstly, we will see Indus Valley civilization. The Indus Valley civilization was one of the most advanced ancient civilization in the history of mankind. European countries are often cited as examples of social and economic development and good urban planning. But can you imagine that about 4,500 years ago, people were living in well planned cities and buildings in the Indus Valley civilization in the Indian subcontinent? This civilization flourished between 3300 BCE and 1800 BCE on the bank of the Indus River and its tributaries. Students, it had advanced urban culture and its social and economic systems were well developed. The Indus Valley civilization was given its name after the first discovery of its main cities on the banks of the Indus River. So far, about 250 such sites have been discovered in present day Pakistan and parts of northern and western India. The Indus Valley civilization was the largest among the four ancient civilizations. Two main Indus cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, were unearthed in the early 1920s in present day Pakistan. The Indus Valley civilization is also known as the Harappan civilization, as Harappa was the first city to be unearthed. Dayaram Sahani and Rakhaldas Bandyopadhyay, both working with the Archaeological Survey of India in the early 1920s, played a leading role in the discovery of the two main cities. Students, Indus Valley civilization gave us the grand and glorious legacy of town planning, housing, and urbanization, characterized by remarkable and perfection. Several features of the Harappan legacy are unmistakable even today. It was followed by the Vedic civilization of ancient India. It is believed that the Vedic civilization pioneered various concepts leading to the birth of modern science, technology, astronomy, and so on. Literature. Topic is literature. A considerable part of our knowledge about ancient Indian history comes from literature. These literary creations were written in Sanskrit, Prakrit, and Pali. Students, the literature of this period can be categorized into religious and secular kinds. Do you know, students, there are 108 Upanishads. The essence of Vedanta philosophy is in these Upanishads. Puranas are sacred literature dealing with stories of Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, and about earth creation. There are 18 surviving Puranas. The Arankyas are also an extension of the Ved. Now, parts of Veds. The Veds are one of the oldest literary work that we have. The word Ved means knowledge. There are four Veds: Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, and Arthved. They contain hymn in praise of different god and goddesses. Along with the Veds, there are a set of texts called the Brahmanas. They are commentaries on the Veds. Each Ved has a separate Brahmana. The epics. Another genre of literary works were the epics. An epic is a long story written in verse form. Two great epics, the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, are very valuable because they continue to influence life even the present times. They are an important source to know the condition of life and society in those days. They give vivid accounts of the extent of empires and the relations and battles among kingdoms. The Mahabharata also includes the Bhagavad Gita. It is in the form of a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjun on the battlefield. Now, the sacred literature. In sacred literature, we are going about to know the Buddhist and Jain text. It is also form a part of Indian literature. Jataka tales are stories about the previous birth of Lord Buddha. The Jain texts include the Purvas, the Angas, and the Upangas. The Buddhist texts are written in Pali and Prakrit. Now, secular literature. The Arshas by Kautil Indica by Megasthenes, Harshacharita by Bhanabhat, stories from the Jatakas, and the Panchatantra, the work of Kalidas, the accounts of foreign travelers, and Sangam literature are the important secular works of this period. Ras Tarangani by Kalhan is another famous historical work which describes the history of Kashmir till the 12th century. The Arshas describe the political system of the time and the art of governance, whereas the Indica tell us about the political, social, and economic conditions during the Mauryan rule. Megasthenes has also described the city of Patliputra in great detail. These all are included in secular literature. Harshacharita contain a description of the early life of King Harshvardhan. Kalidas lived during the reign of the Gupta kings and is considered one of the greatest poets and dramatists of India. He has written many poems and plays in Sanskrit. His famous works include Meghdut, Raghuvamsham, Ritushamhara, Abhijana Shakuntalam, and Kumar Sambhava, which give a vivid account and insight into the life in the Gupta period. Now, accounts of foreign travelers. Students, as you know that many travelers and pilgrims came during the rulers of India. Now, for example, we can see that Fayan came uh, during the region of Chandragupta II. He lived for 6 years in India, visiting Buddhist monasteries. His account gives a detailed description of the life of the people under the Gupta kings. Megasthenes was an ambassador of Seleucus Nicator who visited the court of Chandragupta Maurya. He wrote an interesting book, Indica, in which he gave a vivid account of Chandragupta Maurya region. 2 centuries later, Hein Shang also came to India. He wrote about the conditions in those times. The rule in the north was Harshvardhan. I Sting was another Chinese traveler who visited India. Topic is architecture. Different art forms flourished in ancient India. Painting, sculpture, architecture, jewelry, metalwork, woodwork, and engineering. A student. A large number of images and other inscriptions have been found which belong to the ancient period. These are the living proof of the height that sculpture attained in those early times. Men and women were fond of jewelry from the very beginning. A number of pieces of jewelry have been excavated from even old Harappan sites. With the passage of time, Indian craftsmen had attained expertise in designing jewelry and it was in great demand in other countries. The iron pillar at Mehrauli is an evidence of the expertise in metalwork in ancient India. This pillar has not rusted even after all these centuries. Intricate woodwork was in vogue in ancient times. People used to get their door and windows carved in different patterns. Many tools and showpieces too were made from wood. The ancient Harappan sites of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa are examples of excellent engineering skill. The pillar, inscription, and building tell tales of fine engineering methods. Student, it is amazing how inscribed pillars were transported hundreds of miles away without causing any damage to them. Moreover, these pillars have retained their polish, which was done hundreds of years ago. We find a number of monuments and buildings which prove that architecture was at its best in the ancient times. We find a number of temples, stupas, monasteries, and other monuments belonging to the ancient period. The Buddhist temple at Gaya, the stupa at Sanchi, the Vishnu temple at Devghar, the Lingaraja temple at Bhubaneswar, the Mahadev temple at Khajuraho, and many other temples in South India are the living proof of the marvelous ancient architecture. If we see temple of North India student, we can see the Vishnu temple at Devghar, built during the Gupta period, is the finest example of temple architecture in North India. Other notable temples were built in Sanchi and Magad. They were dedicated to Vishnu, Shiva, and Durga. The idol was placed in the sacrum Garbhagriha. A tower shikara was added on top of the Garbhagriha to identify it as a sacred place. In some temples, a mandap also existed. Now, Temple of South India. The cave temples built by the Chalukyas at Ahihole and Badami in Karnataka are representative of classical South Indian temple architecture. The most famous of the structural temples built in the Pallava period was the Shore temple at Mahabalipuram dedicated to Lord Shiva. The Rath of Mahabalipuram, of which the Dharmaraja Rath is the largest, were carved out of huge blocks of single rocks. The Chola further refined temple architecture to an art, adding such distinctive features as the Vimana and the Gopuram to the temple structure. Students, we can see the Dashavatara temple at Devghar, which are the finest example of that period architecture. The temple at Bhitargaon and in Kanpur and the temple at the Sanchi in Madhya Pradesh are beautiful examples of Buddhist architecture. These temples were constructed of brick and stones. The stupas and the caves. The cave temples at Ajanta also belong to this period. Now, stupas. Stupa means a mound having certain features. It essentially was an ancient burial mound revered by the local population. The Mauryan Emperor Ashoka built stupas in Buddha honor all over India. Stupa had large domes having a central chamber in which relics of the Buddha were placed in a small casket, often extensively carved in crystal. The stupa had an umbrella of wood or stone which was surrounded by a wooden fence. This enclosed a path for ceremonial clockwise Padshina, a form of reverence paid to the relics. Stupas were mainly built between the regions of the Maurya and the Guptas. Behrut Stupa was an important stupa built in MP, and it was important for its sculpture. It does not exist today. Sanchi Stupa near Bhopal is one of the most prominent architectural remains of ancient India. Temples and viharas built from rock in this period. The most notable ones being the Chaitya built at Kali and the cave temple of Ellora. Amravati Stoop in the Krishna Valley was built in its completed form in 200 CE. Larger than its Sanchi counterpart, its public walks are adorned with carved panels depicting the life of the Buddha. The Make Stupa at Sarnath marks the spot in a deer park where the Buddha delivered his first sermon to his five disciples after attaining enlightenment. A School of Art. Now, School of Art in ancient India. Students, the Neolithic humans probably made the first sculpted objects. These objects were, however, very crude. The Indus Valley people sculpted things by using clay and mud. The stoneworkers of the Mauryan period mastered the art of polishing stone. Numerous stone pillars were made during the Mauryan period. These pillars were carved out of rocks and polished metals. With the coming of the foreigners, the art of sculpturing developed further. The Gandhara and Mathura school of art, which excelled in sculpture, flourishing during the Kushana period. The Gandhara school combined Greek art style with the Indian style. The Mathura school produced images in purely Indian style. The Sarnath school flourished during the Gupta's period. One of the finest examples of Gupta sculpture is the statue of the seated Buddha. It shows the Buddha in the posture of preaching the Dharma. The halo around his head represents his spiritual strength. The Pallavas and the Chalukyas were also patterns of sculpture. Mahabalipuram has many sculptures carved on rock. We can see the sculpture art by on this sculptures. Gandhara school of art during the Kushana period. This Gandhara school of art was period. Above all, Kanish, the greatest of the Kushana, was a famous ruler. He was a great patron of art and architecture. This school flourished during his reign. and it was influenced by Greek methodologies. The figures of Buddha were more spiritual and carved mainly in grey and blush grey color with the finest detailing. Now, paintings. In India, the practice of painting on rocks and walls began from the Stone Age. In ancient India, painting was a highly evolved art form with palaces and houses of rich people have beautifully painted murals, wall paintings on them. Vibrant colors were derived from plants and minerals to take these paintings. Early humans painted on the wall of the caves in which he lived. Many such paintings have survived. In Bhimbetka, many prehistoric paintings have been found. Under the patronage of the Gupta and Chalukya, paintings were done on cave temples in Ajanta. These paintings are called murals. The diptych themes from the life of the Buddha. The colors were made from minerals and plants and still retain their glow. The most famous living example of ancient painting is the Ajanta cave complex having 27 caves containing the finest painting of ancient India. Some of the caves have historic images of the Buddha, while some are painted with scenes from his life and the Jataka tales. We can see the Bhimbetka painting in this picture. Now, next is astronomy. Aryabhatta and Varamira were outstanding mathematicians and astronomers. Aryabhatta wrote in the Aryabhatya that it is the earth which moves around the sun and not the other way round. No one believed him then, but now we know he was right. He also said that the earth rotates on its axis. The Brihad Samhita is an encyclopedia of science, astronomy, astrology, horoscopes written by Varamihira. They could precisely calculate astronomical movements and eclipses. Aryabhatta discovered the causes of eclipses and measured the circumferences of the earth. The concept of the decimal system and zero were part of the Vedic mathematics propounded by Aryabhatta. He also formulated the numerical system comprising the digit 1 to 9. The positional value of digit was calculated. The Indian method of numeration was learned by Arab traders who passed it on to Europeans. This is the reason that the numerals are also known as Indo-Arabic system of numerals. Algebra owes its origin to Indians and Greeks. Geometry was used in making the sacrificial pot for yajnas. The acute light and obtuse angels were also known to the Indians in ancient times. Now, medicine. Diagnosis of disease and their treatment by the use of herb is an ancient system in India. The Arthveda mentions many such herbs and diseases. Sushruta Charak and Dhanvantari were great exponents of the Ayurvedic system of medicine of their times. Sushrut in his Sushrut Samhita has described the methods of cosmetic surgery, operating cataract, stone disease, and some other diseases. He has even mentioned 121 implements for surgery. Similarly, the Charak Samhita written by Charak is a compilation of names of Indian medicines made from plants and herbs. Okay, student, thank you.